if you have been following me from the beginning of my YouTube channel, you know that my YouTube channel started over the Christmas break last year in my mother's closet. Like, I started filming all my videos in my mother's closet. And because I'm now back home in Philadelphia and my mother's getting some work done on her place, I am forced back into the closet. So welcome to my Bachelorette review from my mother's closet. Let's get into the foolishness of this episode. I am so pissed, but we'll get into it. We open up with this race war again. Kenny and Lee are still going at it, and Kenny is like walking back. It picks up from the last episode where Kenny is walking back, dumbfounded that that Lee lied on him again, and he's, you know, doing that crazy thing that I did not like that he was doing, because I'm just like, Rachel is watching you. Like, you want to make a good impression, and he's, oh my God, bro, really? Like that weird mess that he was trying to do, that is like trying to be like funny, creepy, intimidating. I don't know what he was doing, but it turned me all the way off. So anyway, then Kenny sits down with Lee, and I'm telling you, he cusses like my grandmother. Every word was like bleeped. I was kind of impressed, to be quite honest. So then our girl Rachel puts her legal hat on, and after she has talked to Kenny and Lee, she comes back down to meet with the both of them, and she is just like, listen, I've heard multiple stories from the both of you, but I just have to go with the person that I trust, and I trust Kenny. I don't trust you, Lee. And Lee is like actually shocked that he's been cut, and I'm like, have you witnessed yourself during this entire show? You should be shocked that you're still here. All of us are. So then Rachel doesn't give Kenny the rose because she's just not sure about him yet. And it's totally understandable. Like, the most that she's known about him is this back and forth that he has had with Lee. So she wants to be sure if he's here for her and just get to know a bit more about him. So she withholds the rose. But she does eliminate Lee. The devil is gone. Oh, the devil is gone. She eliminates Lee and takes Kenny back to the helicopter. This is the thing that pissed me off with Kenny. Once they get back to the helicopter, he's just like, I gotta say goodbye to Lee. Why? What the hell is going on with you two? I feel like it's beside the fact of like racism at this point. I feel like these two have too much passion, misdirected passion, that they just have to keep on going back and forth. And Rachel was turned off by that as well, because she's just like, you're in the helicopter with me. Why do you have to go back to say goodbye to Lee? Like, what is going on? That's why with my last review, I was just like, I feel like they are both in on this, and it is something going on. I hope that Kenny ain't bottoming Lee. I feel like there's something going on. I really, really do, because it's so weird. It made no sense for him to go back there to say goodbye to Lee. Anyway, Kenny goes and says goodbye to Lee, and he's, dude, you're a snake. You know, you really need to do better in life. And then Lee is just like, well, if she's a God-fearing woman, a Christian woman as she says she is, and she still picked you, then that's on her. First of all, what you're not going to do is bring Middle Eastern Jesus into your foolishness. He don't know you. Depart from him, you snake. Bring the Holy Lamb of God into your foolishness. No, you signed on to the show to be a racist. Now you got to crawl back from under the racist rock that you came from under with your Mario Kart character looking behind. Boy, bye. Bye, Lee. Bye-bye. And don't let the door hit you where Lucifer split you. Now that Lee is gone, this show can be fun again, and we can get back to like the dating and the dummy. The dummy who I saw again this episode. I'll talk about that later. So then Rachel takes Kenny to, was it her place? She took him somewhere, and it was like real intimate, and they're sitting down on the couch and like talking, and she's trying to get to know him a little bit better. And as she like starts to talk to him and get to know him a little bit more, she was just saying that her issue was that she didn't get to know this guy that was before her because of all the Lee drama, and Kenny is trying to explain to her that this is who I am. I'm not that aggressive dude. And it seems to be going really well. It goes so well that she kisses those crusty lips. I was like, Lord, Rachel is out here taking one for the team, because I don't care how nice Kenny was. I would have never kissed chapped lips. Just thinking about it, like my heart is beating so fast. Ladies, you don't ever have to kiss a chapped lip. I don't care if you love that guy. Your lips deserve better. There was one part where Kenny won me over. Rachel is like going for the rose to give to him, and he doesn't even see the rose. He's like, are you going for the Oreos or the strawberries? And she was like, no, actually, I'm going for the rose. And I really thought that that was sweet because he was so into like connecting with her that he wasn't even thinking about the rose. And I really liked that moment. I felt like that was a very real moment with Kenny and Rachel. And I actually started to like him and see him as a contender, because now that I can get to see Kenny outside of this lead drama, I'm starting to see that he may just be compatible for Rachel. No, he not. I don't even know why I said that. I'm trying to be nice. No. So then Kenny goes and talks to his daughter. I'm telling you, I have never seen a reality show that lets a person have this much access to their phone or to outside family. But Kenny must have been like, if you're going to have me on the show, I'm going to need to talk to my daughter 5 times a day. And honestly, I love it. I don't see anything wrong with it. I love the fact that he loves his daughter. And like, even when he's on the phone with her, she's like encouraging him. And, you know, he starts like doing the waterworks again, doing all that crying over being away from that baby. And I think that it is a very great image to place upon Kenny after we've spent several episodes of having this bite-sized racist trying to paint him as aggressive. I think it's very good of the show to show this part of who Kenny really is with his daughter, because I'm telling you, he loves that baby. He loves that baby so much that I feel sorry for the mother, because it seems like his daughter is approaching her teenage years and that mother is going to be doing it by herself. Like, she's on it alone, because as soon as the period starts and she gets into the 9th grade, it's lights. You know what I mean? We all have been there. We all have been them unruly teenagers at some point, not understanding our emotions, going boy crazy, going independent crazy. I don't see Kenny as the type of father that's just going to be like putting a stern foot down with his daughter if the minute he hears her voice, he's all tears. I feel sorry for that mother. Mother is on her own and chastising that baby, because Kenny ain't helping one bit. One bit. I can see Kenny right now. His daughter probably stole, teenage stuff, stole a car for the night. Went out at night at the after party, came in at 4 a.m. The mother is pissed and mad, and Kenny's just like, she didn't mean it. You know what I mean? I feel sorry for that mother, because that daughter got Kenny wrapped around her little finger. It's actually really, really cute, but man, them teenage years, mother, you doing this solo. Why is the penguin still here? I forgot what he sounds like. What is his name? Rachel, girl, what? So it's time for the rose ceremony. And let me tell you something, Rachel, yes. I don't know, like, your outfits every now and again have been throwing me a bit off. Giving me a bit of Marshall's fashions every now and again. And ain't nothing wrong with the Marshalls. I love a Marshalls, but not on ABC's budget. Anyway, I really love this dress that you have on. It is, oh, that dress is so good. Like this, she has like this, champagne, amber rose, is that the name of it? Amber rose gold. Yes, I didn't rename this up. Amber rose gold bedazzled wrap dress, and she looked phenomenal. I'm loving her makeup. I'm loving her hair now. I don't know if they're changing up stylists and designers and like hair people and makeup people as we get closer to the end. But Rachel, her outfits are really starting to like wow me. And when it first started, I was just like, okay. All right, little Charlotte Russe here, little Charlotte Russe there. Now we're coming out with the Balenciaga, okay? Now you got me, girl. Let me tell you something. I would have given Dean the rose too, because he was up there at their rose ceremony looking like a whole snack. I was never like, you know what? I still think that Dean is just not mature enough for Rachel, but listen, he was looking fine at that rose ceremony. I was just like, ooh, yes, Dean. These men on this show are so entitled, because before the rose ceremony, I guess they were doing a confessional with some of the men, and they did one with Josiah, and he's just like, if I don't get a rose, why? Every dude is like a surfer dude. If I don't get a rose, there's something wrong with her brain. How the mighty have fallen. I had this fool in my top pick, but I realized, just like Rachel, I didn't know him. And like Josiah, poor guy, I feel like he's putting on this facade of who he thinks Rachel would be attracted to. I think if you remember, Josiah didn't come in like this. Josiah was the humble guy and really, I'm from, a disadvantaged community. Brother, get in line. And I've overcome a lot of obstacles, and welcome to being black. Ooh. You know what I mean? Like, he drew me into the story, but now I'm just like, who art thou? Because he sees Brian doing very well, he like put on halfway through the show this cloak of Brian now, so he's trying to act like really Rico Suave with her, but that's not who he is, so it's not coming off. And I feel like if he would have showed Rachel the guy that he showed us in his opening like introduction when the show first started, I feel like he would have gone a lot farther than he actually did, because he ends up actually getting cut, and rightfully so. I couldn't agree with anything to save him at this point. He never really showed Rachel anything. I don't really think he showed his heart. I think he told her what what he thought that she wanted to hear, and I think he never allowed her to get to know who he was, which is what she was essentially begging him to do. So he ends up going home, and that's so Raven's dad gets the cut. I was shocked because she was so into him at first. She took him out on that full date, was like really into him. They were kissing, and this came out of nowhere because I honestly expected him to stay over the freaking penguin, who now I know his name is Matt. Guys, what the hell is going? I'm so confused. I had not seen Rachel have any like downtime with Matt. Like why won't you guys show us this time that she's having with these guys? Because Matt has not had enough camera time for me to even remember his name. The only reason why I remember his name is because it just came up in the rose ceremony. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he sounds like. Like every time he's on screen, he never says anything. He just stares. Like, he don't even have no freaking emotions. Is he Botoxing too? Why would you pick a group of men that are so pretty that they got cheek fillers and Botox and all types of creepy weirdo guys? Y'all would have never did this to Miss New York Pollard, okay? Miss New York would have never allowed these sorry group of men. I can't. Then because Josiah gets cut, he's bitter. He starts roasting all of the guys that are still there. And honestly, although I chuckled a bit, because Josiah is just naturally funny, in my opinion, I wish he would have showed that to Rachel. He probably would still be there. But although I thought that this was, I thought that he was very creative in how he like roasted them, I'm also glad still that Rachel cut him, because he was showing his true colors. He was showing how he deals with rejection. And again, it's the immaturity, and the same thing that I see in Eric. It's like you can't want to have a wife and a family, and this is how you act when you don't get your way. That's not how life works for adults. When you don't get your way, you dust your shoulders off and you move on to the next, or you keep going and keep trying. Like this childish behavior is so unattractive. And you know what? I'm glad you're gone. Bye-bye, Josiah. I finally saw the dummy, which is why I kind of like this episode, because the dummy showed up when Josiah was roasting him, because he was just like, I can't believe that Adam, the dude that brought a dummy that looks like Mike Myers, is still here over me. You know what? He's making some sense. Then Eric is just like, every time Rachel cuts a black man, Eric starts shaking in his boots, right? And you know what? He says that Rachel just cut 2 black guys, so he's, a little concerned. And I feel like he's on to something at this point. I wasn't rocking with his Negro conspiracy theories last episode, but now I'm just like, Rachel, what's going on? What's the tea? You know what I mean? Have you had your share of African dingaling? Do you want to move on to something new? I'm not judging, sis. I'm just saying it's a little suspect that all these brothers are going home in mass numbers, okay? Like, she's just chop, 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 chop. So I feel like there might be some truth to that. I'm not sure. I was just like, Eric, you might be onto something, because I honestly did not expect Rachel to send Anthony home, especially since I had him in my top 5. So I'm just like, Rachel, what's the tea, sis? What's going on? I got your back regardless, because the white boys that you kept is hella fine, so I'm not hating. I just want some answers. Wait, the penguin is biracial, right? So she kept a partial black man. I can't even make sense of it. I tried, Eric. I tried. Denmark looks beautiful, but do they have a summer? Because I can't. I'm barely surviving like East Coast winters. I could not do a winter Denmark, because the way Rachel's teeth are chattering every time she's outside, I already know what that cold is like. And this ebony skin ain't gonna do well. I already know. Let me know if they got a summer. So Rachel takes Eric on a one-on-one date, a full day. And as soon as she sees him, he pulls out the swag. That's when I was just like, okay, Eric might just win this competition, because this is the thing. Rachel loves swag. That's how Brian with them cheek fillers got her. Ladies, listen up. She overlooked cheek fillers over swag. Swag gets us every time. We have got to stay woke. So Rachel and Eric on this boat was really, really cute. I liked it. I liked their interaction. I felt like their conversation was just very natural. And that's what you kind of look for in a partner. It was very natural. It was very, very easy. I still don't feel like I feel like who Eric is representing is a part of who he is. I don't think it's him fully. And I just feel like if she chooses him, I feel like in the long run, it may not work out because he doesn't seem like he can handle challenges and rejection well, like Josiah. So, but, you know, I gotta give him credit. I think he did great on this date. I really thought that they looked cute together. I mean, when he pulled her in and she was smiling and he was like wrapping her in his arms, they look like a Black People Meat commercial. So they look like they fit and they could do really, really well. And you know what? Rachel is really feeling him. I didn't want to admit it because he gets on my nerves, but she's always calling him first. I guess because she was always into him, Rachel never really felt like he was in danger. So she spent more time with guys who she wasn't sure about or trying to get to know a bit more. But I feel like she zoned. Oh, you know what, guys? Yes, she said it like the first episode that she was attracted to him right out the gate. So I think she just put Eric on not on the cooler, but just on the side because I think Rachel already knew that he was going to be in her top. I still don't know what she wants in a man. I still like these dudes are all over the place, so I still don't know. But yeah, I see that's the thing, Eric. She always liked you. She just didn't know anything about the other guys. She had 31 dudes there, so she had to get to know somebody. But Eric was always in the freaking top. Damn, I need to do my top 5 all over again. It's too late. So then Rachel and Eric sit down for dinner. And this made me understand him a bit more because he says that his mother never really but vocalized love to him. So he didn't know really where he stood with Rachel because he just wasn't getting that like attention or she wasn't really saying it to him. So he didn't know. So Eric is the kind of guy that you just have to vocalize. Like you can't give him a sign. He's not good at picking up signs or signals. You got to tell him flat out that this is what you want. This is what you like. Like he's the type of guy that you just got to put it on a, what is that called? A PowerPoint presentation. Eric needs a PowerPoint presentation on just about everything concerning a woman because he has issues with his mother growing up because she just didn't vocalize his love, so he's never quite sure where he stands with a woman. Makes total sense. However, I still think that for somebody like Rachel who says that she's ready to get married and have kids right now, and this is why she's on this show looking for a husband and a father to her kids, Eric is not the guy. I feel like after some therapy and maybe just some getting to know me years, Eric will be a phenomenal husband. But he needs healing. And let me tell you something, when a man needs healing, everybody get out of the way because they are just such strong, built up to be such strong creatures that it takes forever to break through that layer to get into what's really going on with them. And I just don't think Rachel wants to wait around that long to really get him to where he can be as a husband and a father for what she wants in a man. You know what I mean? But I liked him a bit more this episode. So Eric stands rejoice. He's still kind of good on my nerves, but man, this episode did him good. This episode did him good because I'm able to see him in a different light. And I'm like, okay, I understand why he's still here. So this is my thing, right? How are these men who have never spent more than 5 minutes with Rachel and have always only been on group dates where they never even talked to her falling for her? Like, Adam, you're falling for Rachel? Really? Or are you falling for a check? Don't play me. Play with your dummy. Alex's eyebrows are snatched, okay? Like, I'm like, sweetie, how are you keeping them eyebrows up? Because after about 2 weeks, my eyebrows have me looking like Gargamel. I'm due for an appointment right now. She takes the remaining men on a group date, and it's like this whole Viking thing where they're all like fighting or whatever, and it's actually pretty cute. However, I feel like we could have got 5 minutes of this, like 5-minute B-roll of this whole Viking scene and went on because we did not need to see them go through actual games. It wasn't that interesting. I wanted to get more to the juice and the drama because apparently the second hour of this show Rachel went cutting crazy. Like, she was cutting dudes and snatching wigs. I wasn't ready. I feel like she's falling for a player. I feel like Brian is a player. There's something about him. And I also feel like I'm kind of tainted because I saw clips of the reality show that he used to be on. Like, he was on some like pickup artist reality show in it. And I felt like that's who he really is. Like, this kind of player guy. And Brian has not settled down. And Brian is not married. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I just don't think he's ready. I think he is swimming in coochie, no tea, no shade, and he's fine with that. You know what I mean? He's probably smashing every broad in Miami, and absolutely, I'm not saying anything is against that. I'm just saying that I don't think that he's ready to settle down. Some men are not like that. Let me tell you something. I got an uncle, good and 70. He's still smashing broads at like the senior citizens home. He's never ready to settle down. Like, that's just who he is. And I feel like that's who Brian is. I don't think he's ready to be a husband and a father. And I feel like if Rachel picks him, she's going to get her heart broken because she's ready for something and this dude is not. However, I feel for Rachel because I think it's very hard for her to see that he is a player because he has been consistently pursuing her since day one. And that's how players are. When they set their minds on a goal, they become obsessive to a fault sometimes. And I feel like because he set his sights on her, when he got out that limo, he was running game. And she fell for it. Every time he sees her, he's like, oh, hey, they do like, they get like 2 words out. And he's like, but first, and he pulls her in and kisses her. And she's weak in the knees. She can't think about anything else. Every time he leaves her, she's swooning and going all types of crazy. She don't know nothing about the dude. She ain't asking about his past relationship. Nothing. She don't know nothing about him but the fact that when he places his hands on her hips and draws her in and kisses her, she's gone. Girl, swag is dangerous. You know what? I think I'm gonna do a whole YouTube session on the dangers of swag and how it has taken down the strongest women in history. I have to teach that because I feel like I'm watching this sister fall to swag. Gets us every time. Almost got me. But I'm free. So we're back at the house now, and Will reveals that he normally dates white because him and Eric are like talking, and Eric is thinking that he didn't think that she was into him because all the black men are going home, and Will is just like, well, that really doesn't matter because, I typically date white girls. Shocker. Like, you didn't have to announce that, Will. We kind of already knew. So, while they're back at the house, I guess after Kenny talked to his daughter, because they showed that he was just really messed up. Like, he was really messed up after talking to his daughter and being so far away from her. Kenny sits down, Kenny and Rachel sit down and talk, and basically Kenny like talks himself out of the competition. He's saying that I felt like this was The Bachelor and Kenny was letting Rachel go because he was just basically saying there's nothing there and he wants to work on it, but he just doesn't feel it right now. And I'm just like, oh, dude. You want to get back to that baby. And Rachel felt that as well. So, she just let him go home. And at this point, you know what? I got to backtrack on what I said about Rachel. I don't think that she's trying something new and, going all white men for a reason. I feel like the brothers are taking themselves out. The brothers are tripping them own selves up. There's nothing that Rachel is doing at all. Like, these guys, the black men on this show are just not putting in... I didn't say a word. The black men in this show are not putting in the effort to get a black woman. Let's talk about it, Saints. Let's talk about it because they don't. They don't do no work. I feel like black men know that we are loyal to them to a fault. And because we always, we do, black women, I don't know about any other woman, any other, group of women. I'm going to speak for us. We love them black men. Like, we love them. We desire a black man. Even when we want another dude of another culture, we still are just like, I'm having such a great time with Connor, but if Jamal act right, he gonna be the one. So they just don't do the work. They don't put in the effort like these white boys on this show are doing. These brothers are not putting in the effort and they are taking themselves out of the competition. Y'all gonna lose us. Wow. I just said a word. Pass the offering plate, please. Give me your tithes. I just preach. Having said that, I'm really surprised that the white men on the show are so forward. Well, white and Colombian. Is that the same thing? I don't know. I went to a performing arts school. Don't judge me. Anyway, the non-black men are very I don't want to use the word aggressive because Lee has made me hate that word, but very forward with showing their affection and desires for Rachel. And the brothers just are not doing it. And it's just very odd because I'm from Philly. Like, you know what I mean? Like the black men in Philadelphia, they let you know they want you. You know what I mean? Like you could be walking out of the store looking a hot mess and the brother will walk up to you and be like, hey, queen, what's up? I'm trying to give you twins. You down? Like that's what I'm used to. So it's just very odd for me to see this show where there were like a collective group of black men who are just not doing the work. But the white boys are. Y'all better take a page out of Serena Williams' book and read it. So let's talk about Will. Mr. Keebler Elf ears. Like, what the hell? What happened here? I was swooning over Will, but then he just dropped the ball. So Rachel chooses Will after she does the Viking date for the guy. She chooses Will for a one-on-one. And I was really excited because I'm just like, oh my goodness, we're about to get hot and steamy. We're about to get some brown skin on brown skin love here. I was really excited about it. But then Rachel goes on this date with Will and there's nothing. There's no sparks or anything. They're out traveling and honestly, it looks like two co-workers walking to work together. You know what I mean? You know how you just have that co-worker, you live in the same neighborhood or you meet in a parking lot and y'all just happen to walk in and you have a little elevator conversation just going about the rest of your day. That's what I feel like this date was with Rachel and Will because there was no spark. And I feel so bad for my girl because they're at this gorgeous castle and she's sitting there like waiting for him to kiss her, waiting for him to make a move. And he's just, it's beautiful, isn't it? Look at the people walking. Birds, sky, air, not this hot sister standing next to you. You don't want to caress her and rub her down? Like, what are you doing, bro? Then they sit down for their dinner. After they had such an awkward date, they sit down for their dinner. And Rachel, oh my gosh. Rachel says to Will, what are you looking for in a woman? Will, Captain Dum Dum, says, oh, well, I normally date white women. You were on a date with a black woman. She said, what do you normally look for? Like, what's the type of typical girl that you would date? What do you look for? I don't care if you normally date white women. I don't care if you're only attracted to white women. You're on a date with this sister and you want to tell her, oh, I like the opposite of you. What? And you expected to stay? She should have chopped him right there. I can't believe that she still continued the date with him. And he's just like, well, you know, I grew up in a white neighborhood. Here we go. Tiny violin. Those type of black people gets on my last nerve. I grew up in a white neighborhood. I went to a white school. I only have white friends. So I just date white women because that's all that's accessible to me. First of all, what are you trying to say about white women that just because they're around that you'll date them? Like there's no other qualities that you liked in a white woman that you have dated. They were just there. So you just said, hey, I need to put my penis in something. It's white. They're plentiful. Let me just go ahead and smash it. Like, what are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense that just because white women were there and available, you just decided to date them. So you put absolutely no effort into getting to know anyone or trying to like make an actual relationship. It was because the person was there and they were convenient. This ain't high school. Like, you know what I mean? That's what happens in high school. Because you're around, you just date people. When you grow up and you get older and you live your life, there are so many people that have dated people in high school that look back and it's just like, if I wasn't in that small town, I wouldn't be with that fool. But they are kids. They're stuck in that situation. You're older. Will has definitely traveled. He talks about it. So this whole because white women were accessible bullcrap don't fly with me. Because even our girl Rachel said, well, I grew up in a white neighborhood. I went to a mainly white school. And I've only dated black men. So I don't know where that's not an excuse. And so he's just like, oh, we just come from similar lives with totally different paths. So Rachel ends up cutting that fool, and I'm glad she did because I feel bad again. I feel bad for Rachel and myself because we both thought that he was a top contender. I felt like Rachel was really feeling Will, especially after that handball because the brother was looking nice and she really liked how he tackled that challenge. She wanted him to take that passion and tackling that handball and tackle her behind, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it. And it was very obvious and apparent that he just was not attracted to black women. He's trying to make this excuse, oh, I'm attracted to you. But Rachel was already checked out. Because, listen, guys, if any men are watching this, listen. If you are going out, any straight men, okay? If you're on a date with a woman and she asks you what kind of woman do you go out with or you're attracted to, even if you're not attracted to normally the type of woman that you're on a date with, lie. Tell her it's her. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So he's another brother on this show that checked himself out of the competition. By will. We just really cannot put the onus on Rachel and all this stuff with black men. Like, this ain't no black and ain't no white thing. It's about the dudes that are pursuing her and are actually making an effort. And at this point, only the alabaster dudes are making an effort to go after Rachel. These brothers, these sorry brothers in this show are not putting in work, except for Eric, because he put that swag on. He charmed the hell out of me. These white boys are pursuing Rachel like it's freshman year in college. The stories sisters can tell you about how them white boys are in college, my God, today. It was a journey. I also feel like this elimination was the first time that I was not upset that Rachel like dangled a rose in front of a dude and sent him home. I'm glad that she stuck it to him. She needed to. How dare you? What kind of woman are you typically attracted to? Not you, ho. That's basically what he said. After Rachel sends home suburban Kodak Black, it's now a white man's game at this point. Like, Rachel, like, Eric's the only one holding it down. Strong competitor, because I really feel like she's into this dude, but I don't know, guys. We might have our first interracial. Wait, no, wasn't that other girl from The Bachelor? Wasn't she Korean? Whatever. There might be a white boy taking home Rachel. Hopefully it's Peter, but the previews from next week got me concerned. We'll dish about that later. You know what, sisters? It's a new dawn. It's a new day, and we got options, sweetie. Rachel is letting us know there are options. Serena Williams is letting us know we got options, okay? I was going to say Halle Berry, but her Caucasian options have not worked out. So let's just stick with Serena Williams and Rachel. And Rihanna. Can we dish about Rihanna? Well, her billionaire Middle Eastern boo? Listen, sisters, expand. In the summer of 2017, this is time for the sisters to expand. Expand your horizons. We got to stop looking within the camp when there are so many other options outside the tribe. Go outside the tribe and get yourself a little samples. Samples, you know what? This is the summer of samples for the sisters. That's what we're doing. Sampling, sisters. Sample. And let me know how your sampling goes in the comment section below, because I'm here for it. So now it's the rose ceremony again. After Rachel sends home Will, she gets all dressed up and she does the final rose ceremony. Now there are like 4 roses at this point. I think one dude already has one. I don't know about them numbers, but I know that there are a lot of guys who are like shaking in their boots at this point because it's getting down to the wire. She sent Will home. Kenny took his own self out of the competition. Oh, you know what? Yeah, Eric got a rose, so he's chilling, right? Now it's up to the white men. So Rachel is there and she's giving out roses. And I thought I knew how this was going to go. Home girl calls the freaking penguin over Alex. How in the hell do you pick the penguin? The penguin who nobody knows what he sounds like because he has gotten no camera time. The penguin who you have not said more than 2 words to. Only for him to just be like, well, I'm black anyway. This is why I'm in a hot penguin costume. No, you were hiding that hair. No tea, no shade, brother. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Like, how do you cut Alex? Fine Alex, sexy Alex, smart Alex, sweet Alex for the penguin. Nobody understands this. I'm telling you, everybody on Twitter had a full-on fit when we saw that Alex got cut. I do not understand this decision. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Alex seems like he would be a great father, a great provider, and a great lover. Have you seen that body, girl? What are you doing? And did you see him when he was stripping for the elderly people at the Ellen show? What does Matt have? Is he wealthy? What is it? I just don't understand. I don't understand how Matt and Adam, who we have not seen you spend any time with. Now, maybe she picked them because she wants to get to know them better. But girl, you should have did that in the beginning. This is the top 7 and you take 2 dudes that we don't know nothing about besides one who carries around a damn dummy. Pray for me, because I feel like this show is going to put me in the hospital. I am so stressed out. So stressed out. Like, at this point, I thought that I knew what Rachel wanted. I thought that I kind of had it pegged, and I guess it's just, I'm just disappointed because I realized I don't know anything about what's going on. Because let's face it, my top pick is Peter, but even he said that him and Rachel need more ground to cover. They don't know a lot about each other because every time they see each other, all they do is grind. Like, there's nothing more to them besides the fact that she like dry humping Peter. Like, that's the only thing we really have with them. Like, we don't really get any downtime. Brian, she loves the fact that because he's good with his hands. She loves how he fills her up and caresses her with his cheek fillers. Oh, so gross. Then we have Adam, who has a dummy. Then we have Matt, who I have no idea with anything about him. Then we have Dean, who, although he is fine, he is not mature enough for you, Rachel. Let me tell you something. Them young ones, it's fun in the beginning. It's a great time. But then all of a sudden, it ain't great. Ask Courtney Cox, okay? She loved David Arquette for a time. Then it got to being a father, being a husband, being a provider, and it wasn't cute and it wasn't fun no more. Sometimes you'll be making the fling the husband when the fling needs to stay the fling, and the husband needs to become the husband. But you keep on looking for flings. You're not Tostella got her groove back. You are Rachel Lindsay. Eric at this point is the only hope. You know what I mean? I hope if she does pick him, I hope they have a long engagement and he spends that engagement period getting therapy. I don't know. Rachel Lindsay, girl, I don't know. Tell me, what are you looking for, girl? What? But you know what? You have to pick a husband out of, you know, a group of men. Not saying that they are terrible. I just felt like the casting was a bit poor. I felt like they could have got her some bangers. She got a few, but I felt like she could have got a whole cast of bangers. Like, she didn't need Lee. She didn't need Matt. She didn't need the Tickle Monster. Like, let's be real here. She didn't need Ted Bundy. You know, like, they could have did our girl better, but it is what it is. At this point, I don't know. I don't know who's winning. I don't know, guys. I don't know. That's where the episode ends. Next week, I don't know what the hell is going on with them previews. I'm hoping that they're misleading, like they were misleading with Kenny and Lee and the blood and all that stuff, because there's a scene where Rachel is bawling her eyes out crying, and then Peter is just like, it's my fault. It's my fault. I left out information. Whatever he's trying to say. Let me tell y'all something. They better not cut Peter. I am going to break something. No, not in my mother's house. I don't want to get put out. But I'm going to have a serious reaction, because that is my top pick. And the only reason why I think they might may make Rachel cut Peter is because they want him to be the bachelor. Dean is the bachelor. Let Peter and Rachel get together. That is her husband. I called it from day one. You better not break them up next episode. I will be devastated. I don't care what Peter did. I don't care if he has a wife, a husband, bastard children. I don't care if he did time. Whatever it is, that is Rachel's husband. When he got on this show, it all became exempt. Okay? That is her husband. I better not break them up next week, Bachelorette. I'm telling you. I'ma light that production company up. Don't do it. That is her husband. Don't play me. Don't play me. Oh, gosh, it might be Brian. She may pick Brian. I am so stressed out. Who suggested that I watch this show? I have never been this emotionally invested into anything, like any TV show, but this show got me messed up. I'm messed up. Peter goes home next week, and Matt, who looks like freaking Super Mario Brother in cosplay, is still here. I don't know. I'm gonna have to fight somebody. Anyway, I will see you all next week. I don't know if I'm going to keep on reviewing after next week. If it don't go away, I need it to go. Anyway, if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you next week for the following episode of The Bachelorette. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. Love ya. Bye.